What's up there, good peoples? Cameron Norfleet, Century 21 All Points Realty, and I just want to thank you for stopping by. Whether you're watching this on my YouTube channel, Facebook, or you listen to this on the podcast, I definitely appreciate you stopping by to hear what I've got to say. Today, I've got a special guest. All right, I definitely wanted to do something special for those of you who are hurting right now. With small businesses. With the current market conditions, I know a lot of people are hurting. Not everybody can work from home. Not everybody can work from home, and I definitely wanted to do something, to give you a little something to help you out, just so you can have some ideas as to what you can do with your business, even in this current climate. Some businesses that have been hurt, and really affected by this. Like I said, those who cannot work from home, such as barbershops. I wrote a little list. Barbershops, hairstylists, makeup artists, tattoo artists, personal trainers, massage therapists, home cleaners, bed and breakfast owners, event planners, consignment shop owners. The list goes on and on. I have a whole long list here, but you get the idea. So I wanted to do something for everybody, and we're actually streaming live today. So if I see that we do have a few people on here. If you have any questions for my guest, feel free to ask. If you are in this position. If you know someone that's in this position, definitely share this. Again, whether it be the podcast, if you listen to this later, or if you're on live, or if you watch if you watch us later on, definitely you want to share this with them, and that would be great. So who we have today, Carlos Gil. All right, Carlos Gil. If you're in marketing and branding, you know who Carlos Gil is. All right. So I went to the top today. I got somebody great. All right. So Carlos Gil, for those of you who may not know who he is an international keynote speaker. He's an award-winning digital storyteller with over a decade of experience in social media. He's worked with global brands such as LinkedIn, Winn-Dixie, Save-A-Lot, BMC. He's been featured on CNN Money, the Harvard Business Review, and many other publications. He's the CEO of Gil Media. And Gil Media is a full-service digital marketing firm that works with Fortune 500 companies. So he's not just some fly-by-night guy. He's the real deal. All right. So that's what I want to bring to you guys today. And so without further ado, let's bring in Carlos. Carlos, what's up, brother?
What a great introduction.
I try. All right. So, hey, listen. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I think you really touched on all the highlights there, and I'll just try to fill in between the best I can. Once again, my name's Carlos Gil. I've worked in social media marketing now for 13 years. Right. I used to be a banker way back in the day, and I lost my job in 2008 and decided I'd never work another day in my life in the financial services industry. And at the same time that I lost my job in 2008 due to the last recession, I founded a business called Jobs Direct USA. It was an online job board. And as a team of one with no startup capital and a whole lot of ambition, I was forced to learn how to grow a business from the ground up. And that's when I really turned to social media at a young age. And it's through social media where I built a following, built a network. Those, the folks I was connecting with way back then, eventually several of them turned into clients. And that's really where my footing began from a personal brand standpoint. Fast forward to today in 2020, like you mentioned before, I have a digital marketing agency. I've had the opportunity to work as an employee for some great brands, including LinkedIn. And I have a book called The End of Marketing, which I appreciate you shouting out here in the creative on the screen. But I'd say the best way to kind of describe me is marketing thought leader, strategist, consultant. I work a lot with the real estate agents that are looking to figure out this whole world of social media marketing. My mom and dad are real estate brokers in Florida, so I grew up in and around the business. And I keep myself really busy, not just doing public speaking, but nowadays doing a lot of these virtual interviews and consulting sessions. So once again, Cameron, thank you for the opportunity to be here with you and your audience today.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for being here for sure. I know you're a busy man. So listen, for those people that cannot work from home, the business owners, the small business owners, what this country thrives on, what type of advice would you give them? How could they survive at minimum and possibly even thrive in the current market conditions?
So the thing is, you have to stay active, right? And that's what I've been saying to folks since we started about 6 weeks ago, going down this path of staying at home and being isolated from the world. Like in my case, as a public speaker, the rest of my year has been impacted by COVID. As a digital marketing agency owner, same, but you have to stay active. That's the big thing. And I know it sounds very vague. But what I mean by staying active is, doing stuff like this, like we're doing right now, producing content, connecting. I've had a lot of restaurants in an odd way reach out to me over the last 6 weeks asking, like, we're still open, we're doing deliveries only, we're doing takeout, but like, how do we promote our businesses? So I've been saying, like, this is where you get creative, like do a meal of the day and do a live video show every morning at 9 a.m. when you first open. Use that as a way to sell meals throughout the day. With real estate, this might not be the best time to be thinking about open houses and
for sure,
promoting new listings and whatnot. But I guarantee you, like, education is extremely important. You got people that are sitting at home, they're consuming content, whether it's podcasts, YouTube videos, Instagram content. Like, if you can be in people's faces right now and just giving versus taking, what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in a really good position for when we come to the other side of this, whether it's next week or next year or next month. No one really knows. But the more people see your face, the more they feel comfortable with you. Again, we're all creatures of habit as people. And I write about that in my book, End of Marketing. People do business with who they like and who they trust and who they find relatable. And I'd say this is the time where what you should be doing is you should build. And like I said before, give more than you take.
Absolutely. So really, businesses, small businesses, whether your business is currently open or the doors are closed, you should stay active is basically what you're getting at, or what you've said. So, I mean, when you say stay active, should they still be marketing? Should they still be reaching out to customers and clients and past clients and so on and so forth? And if so, how?
So let's just kind of break down real estate agents, for example. I think there's a couple ways that you can thrive, even if you're not necessarily selling right now. First of all, as a real estate agent, you're always in kind of like biz dev lead generation mode. So a lot of the activities that you were doing before COVID was all with the intent of generating leads. So where we're at right now is no different, but like really touch on some of the pain points that people are facing. One, mortgage payments. I mean, if you go on YouTube right now, see if there's an authority that's talking about how to move mortgage payments around, how to defer mortgage payments. Go on YouTube and really study who's the authority in your target market where you do business on the real estate industry and see what it is that they're posting. You might use this period to educate people on things, again, like what to do with mortgage payments, who's open in your neighborhood. And that's one of the things that when I work with real estate agents, even before COVID-19, I was teaching them on how to really become the go-to thought leader or expert in your own community. And I've worked with real estate agents. I've coached them on starting a podcast in their own community to starting up their own live show that has nothing to do with real estate. But the key is that to get individuals in your community to see you as the go-to for all things your city. So to put in context, I live in Miami, Florida. And if I was a real estate agent in Miami right now, what I would be doing is creating content across social media on who's open for business. Right?
Absolutely.
Who are the restaurants that have deals? Who are the restaurants that are delivering? Partner with them somehow. Create a local podcast for just all local businesses to come on and promote themselves and shout themselves out. Because what's going to happen is if you create a show, let's just say around community, those folks in your community that come on your show, they're going to share that piece of content out within their own circles. And that's the way that little by little you'll be able to get your name out there without ever having to talk about real estate.
Right. How would you say that marketing has changed? Like, let's say over the past 5 years or so, whether it be, a real estate agent or, like I said, your local small business owner or whomever, how would you say that marketing has changed?
Well, in a variety of ways. First of all, the internet is really noisy. I call the internet in my talks as well as in my book, End of Marketing, I refer to as a noisy digital ocean. You have a lot of competition. And you have a lot of people that are vying for reach and for impressions and for eyeballs. So I'd say that as social media and the internet have matured, what you have is this influx of more people that are joining, creating content. And as a result, it's becoming noisier. And what you need to do is you need to, first of all, stop selling on social media and instead start engaging. What I mean by that, People don't always need to see your product in their face or their service. Like, for example, again, going back to if I was a real estate agent, I would brand myself as the Miami Realtor or Carlos Gil, Miami, Florida real estate agent.
Right.
Even if I never talk about real estate in terms of like inventory that I have for sale, you would still know what I do. Even if it's just posting content in my own local community, even if it's posting tips about the real estate industry, educating consumers about the real estate industry. So I think, again, going back to your question, how marketing has changed is that it's a lot harder to get people's attention if you're saying the same thing as everyone else. And the key differentiate yourself. It's not to talk necessarily about what you do, but to provide as much education and value as you possibly can, and keeping in mind that your objective is to stand out and rise above the noise.
Right. So would you say, because you kind of touched on two different things there, you said one, or basically I'll say like this is what I'm kind of taking from what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. So one would be to continue to put out content, okay, for one thing. And then you also mentioned engaging. So what would you say is more important, if there is one, putting out constant content or engaging I guess in the comments, rather that be on your particular social media channels, or even engaging in other local people's social media channels in the content that they're putting out?
So such a good question. Let me kind of break this down for you. First of all, your objective should be to get on people's radar, whether they come to your page or whether they learn about you through another medium altogether. So you don't need to post content for the sake of just posting content.
Right.
I'll share with you a strategy that I recommend to real estate agents is when you go on Instagram, okay, look up locations, look up places, and see where people are posting content. So the first thing that comes to mind is new business grand openings, right?
Right.
Places like I went to before all this happened, I went to a grand opening for a new restaurant in Miami, in Brickell, close to where I live. And that night, a ton of people were out posting content, of their drinks, of their meals. That would be an opportunity as a real estate agent, if you're not at that event, to still form a dialogue with people that are there. I went to Canada back in February to do a keynote speech. And I met a real estate agent at the event that I was at, and I suggested to her, every single person that checks in at the airport in Calgary, you should comment on their photo. And I went back because I think where a lot of agents, especially, they always push back on this is they say that they don't have time, but that's BS. Everyone has time.
Absolutely.
If you're willing to make the time. So I went back and started counting, and the day that I checked in and posted a photo, there was only 9 other people that posted a photo at that airport. And then there was an average of between 9 to 10 posts per day. So I said to her, imagine if every single person that's checking at the airport here, you're greeting them. You're the first person coming, just saying, welcome to Canada. Awesome. Welcome to Calgary. If there's anything that I can do for you, let me know. If there's any recommendations, let me know. So again, what I'm trying to say, Cameron, is this is a way of being in people's faces, being in front of them, without ever having to right hook them for a sale or for a lead.
Right. Awesome. So let me ask you this. You mentioned in your book something about, or you're talking about AI. Okay. It's slipping me right now. AI. Anyway, we're talking about AI. There you go. The word slipped me. All right. So how can small business owners benefit from AI?
Such a good question. So I'd say the biggest thing that real estate agents and business owners need to know about artificial intelligence is that AI will eventually make marketing easier, but it'll make it less human. So it's really important. What I mean by that is we've already seen technologies like chatbots, for example, that can speed up and automate processes that would otherwise take a human to go respond to someone and whatnot, because those activities are time consuming. But what happens is that as AI enters the business ecosystem more and more, it makes the human connection less important, less relevant, and it's less prevalent. So at the end of the day, keep in mind that people do business with who they trust, who they like, and who they can relate to. So while artificial intelligence can speed up business processes, it doesn't necessarily replace a human altogether. And when people are thinking about making an investment like the home that they're going to live in, right, that's a pretty big investment. You can't automate that process.
For sure.
And even using social media, I think a lot of agents think that just by being on social media and having a presence and posting some photos and videos, that all of a sudden it's going to make someone want to do business with them. When in reality, one of the biggest reasons why you should use social media is because of word of mouth referrals. Okay. So I'd say right now is the time that while you have some downtime, and this isn't just real estate agents, this is it's barbers, it's insurance agents, same way in service-based business. Go back to every single person that you've come in contact with over the last year and just see if they need any help. Just reach out, see how they're doing. You know, it's something that I've been doing for the last 6 weeks, is just going to people that I've met at conferences, going to people that necessarily I don't do business with, but I'd like to do business with, and we've had some sort of dialogue at some point in time, existing customers, obviously. So you can't go wrong by just checking in and being in people's faces and being present.
Right. And I've heard you say something in the past on one of the many videos that I've seen you in, talking about even just going on Twitter. All right. And you know, so take, for instance, a barber, you know, so a barber, you know, can go on Twitter and go to the search and see someone say something about, man, I really need a haircut. You know what I mean? And actually localize that search. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that can be beneficial?
You know, again, with barbers, they're no different than real estate agents. You know, they're in a service-based business, so it's knowing your customers. Right. I see my barber that's in Miami every single day going to people's houses and cutting hair. Is it the safest thing to do in these times? Absolutely not. But let's face it, people need to eat. The flip side of that is maybe think about if you're a barber is doing virtual lessons on how to cut hair. I know that sounds.
I agree 100%. No, I agree with that 100%.
A lot of people right now that are chopping their hair off because they start giving themselves a fade and it looks awful.
Right.
I mean, you know, with barbers also, like as a customer, I like to get a haircut every single week, right?
Right.
I'm coming due for another cut. So where I'm at, I went on Instagram and I connected with some different barbers and got to see, first of all, they're not going out to random people's houses. And the barber that's been cutting my hair over the last few weeks, we've been meeting privately for him to cut my hair and give me a beard trim. So again, it goes back to the age-old principle of knowing your customer, being in people's faces, and offering as much value as you possibly can.
Cool. What would you say is more important, or is there even one that's more important than another? Branding your company or branding yourself, or does that really kind of depend on the type of business that you're in?
It definitely depends on the type of business that you're in. I think that's such a good question, and it's a relevant question for today's day and age because so many people overthink personal branding, and what your personal brand really is the brand of you. So there's a difference between a personal brand and a corporate brand. Now, in my case, right, people, they want to work with me because I'm a speaker, I'm a consultant. Forget the whole agency aspect for a moment. When they see my content, they want to work with me directly. And that's something that I've been able to use from a business development standpoint to feed business over to my agency. So think about the same principles. If you're a real estate agent, insurance agent, you work for yourself, you're a freelancer, build a brand around your talents, your skill sets, what makes you unique first and foremost, because at the end of the day, people want to do business with other people and not with a logo.
Right. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you actually invest in real estate or not. But I work with a lot of real estate investors, and with real estate investors, a lot of times they do their own marketing, you know, trying to find sellers because, you know, a lot of times they want to purchase off market properties and things of that nature. So for someone like that, would you say that they should do personal branding, or should they do something more closely related to branding their business?
Personal branding, and again, keeping the emphasis around education, especially if you're talking about
creating content.
Especially if you're talking about real estate investment or investing in real estate. Yeah, you absolutely want to build a brand around yourself and educate the masses, you know, how to get started with how to get started with investing, how much money do you need, where to go for credit, like, you know, where are the best opportunities in certain cities.
For sure.
Even if you're reaching a clientele that doesn't necessarily live in the city where you do business, maybe I'm sitting in Miami, but you sell real estate in, say, Detroit, and there's really good real estate investment opportunities that I should know about. So again, creating content that gives value in this time is where your focus should be.
Right. Nice. Cool. So you mentioned in your book the term or the phrase digital savage. What is a digital savage?
A digital savage, quite frankly, it has a few meanings. First of all, someone that has a personality.
Right.
I've learned by following other influencers, thought leaders, personalities, celebrities in the space that as people, we're so sick and tired of being advertised to. The same reason why we flip the TV commercial, radio commercials, the same reason why when we see an ad from a brand on our favorite social network, we just keep scrolling and we ignore it altogether. But yet, when we get a celebrity that's in our newsfeed, we'll stop and we'll rewatch their video countless times. It's just human nature. So I think what brands need to do today is they need to find ways to incorporate humor, incorporate personality, incorporate relevancy into their brand. So that's one. But two is also, and just to say this very, very bluntly, like not give two Fs who they offend in the process. Be unapologetic to who you offend. And do this in a way that you're not necessarily an a-hole about it, but to your point, you're yourself. I use Wendy's a lot as an example in my talks. I write about them in the book. I write about Taco Bell. Like, these are brands that really get an A+ in my books for showing other marketers out there how to still hide behind the corporate logo, but still be a brand that others want to follow. Now, part of being a savage is also using social media as your best friend to listen to see what's being said about your brand, your competition, and your industry. And I use this example not just in the book, but in the talks that I give. When I started my corporate marketing career, I used to run social media for a supermarket chain based in the Southeast called Winn-Dixie. And when I was at Winn-Dixie, every single day I would see that people were mentioning us and our target competitor, Publix. In tweets. Some tweets, people would say they love Winn-Dixie and they hate Publix. Others would say, I love Publix, I hate Winn-Dixie. The bottom line I'm trying to make is that we had all these opportunities to engage with those customers, and we chose to ignore them because we were so afraid of what the competition was going to do. Well, that was 2012. Fast forward to today, 8 years later, and social media is a completely different game. So you can leverage platforms like Facebook to read reviews of what people are saying about your competition. And if someone leaves a bad review, chances are they're never going to do business with that brand again. So that's an opportunity for you to swoop in and say, hey, we're so sorry that you had a bad experience over here, but maybe you should think about coming over here, or how can we help you? And again, like, you think of all the major industries, airlines, for example. If you go on Twitter, every single moment of the day, there's someone complaining about a flight. There's someone complaining about a hotel. There's someone complaining about food, right? Like, these are opportunities that if you're paying attention to what's being said, and you work in the airline industry, you work in hospitality, or whatever the niche is, this is a blue ocean for you to swoop in and capitalize on, but it's not being done. So again, you want to succeed in social media marketing specifically, you have to be a savage and don't give any Fs who you offend in the process.
Love it. Love it. Nice. So now the name of your book is The End of Marketing. Is marketing over? What's that all about?
Marketing's been over. Marketing's been over for a very long time. And, we still call marketing in some circles marketing, but, man, like when I worked at LinkedIn, we referred to marketing as social selling, and we gave it a fancy title, and you have demand generation, and obviously sales, and you have public relations. Like, marketing is so many things, but I think what you really need to focus on in today's day and age is build a brand, be known for something, and build a brand that connects with a very specific audience. And if you have a product or service to sell, become the go-to thought leader, become the expert, become the person that other people want to do business with. And that's not just marketing. That's branding. That's people management. So when I think of the end of marketing, and I say it in the first sentence of the book, marketing as we know it is dead. Because I don't know a single person that likes being sold to. I ask this question every single keynote that I've done over the last, I'd say 3 years now. I've asked the question by show of hands, who woke up this morning and the first thing that you did was you went to Facebook to see what your favorite brand of all time posted. And seldomly does a single person raise their hand. So when I see that, to me, and these are marketers I'm speaking to, then it makes me really wonder, if you as a marketer aren't even waking up to consume content from brands, then what the hell makes you think that you're
that somebody else is,
want to see what you have to say about you?
Right. Right. Awesome. And I do want to mention that I love the way that you branded just the book, just the cover of the book. I mean, the end of marketing, it's a very catchy term or catchy phrase. Even everything all down to the color. All right. Like it's very catchy. I like it. I think you did a really great job.
That's marketing though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it.
And it is, I wrote a book about social media marketing. I knew that, first of all, there have been thousands of books written about social media well before I ever joined the ranks of becoming an author. So I needed to write a book that, first of all, the title was edgy. Cover the book stands out. If you're walking through an airport, it's going to jump out at you. And quite frankly, what's most important is the context in between the pages. So I'm not a textbook marketer. I don't, full disclosure, I didn't go to college to learn marketing. What I teach is what I've been self-taught, what I put into practice, what I've studied. So with that being said, I hope anyone out there watching this goes out and gets the book, and hopefully it transforms your career, because there's a lot of folks that have reached out to me and been like, dude, this is the best book I've ever read. And I pride myself in saying that because I didn't want to write a book that was so complex and just so high level. I want to get in the weeds and actually teach people, this is how you do what I'm instructing you to do step by step.
Right. For sure. Awesome. So the book, where is it available at? I'm certainly assuming Amazon. Is it available on Audible? Where's the book available? How can someone get the book?
Great question. You can go to Amazon. You can go to endofmarketingbook.com. It'll take you right to Amazon. You can get the book there. Barnes and Noble has it. Target, anywhere, any major, retailers have it, whether it's in person or online. That I don't know. It's all based on supply chain for some of these different stores. But I'd say your best bet is just to go onto Amazon and get it. I know they have a special right now. The book's like $14 and some change if you have free shipping, and it arrives within a couple of days.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I would definitely say for any and everybody, if you're not familiar with Carlos Gil, just look him up on YouTube. You'll see what I'm talking about. He's everywhere. I've seen multiple. I have no idea how many videos I've seen. I was following your vlog. I was, I probably found you, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or so, 2-3 years ago. And I've been following you ever since. So, it's for me, it's an honor to, to even have you on here. So I definitely want to thank you, for taking the time out of your schedule. I did figure, I know you're a public speaker and you speak all over the world, but as of right now, I'm like, we can reach out to this guy. He's probably not speaking anywhere right now.
So, I'm not and it goes back to what I said before about staying active, like doing this that we're doing right here is keeping my knife still sharpened.
Absolutely.
Times, because I might not be on stage speaking in front of a few thousand people, but with that being said, the content that I'm sharing is still public speaking, and it's still very closely aligned with what I teach people on stage. So I appreciate the opportunity. Anyone else that has, anyone watching this that has questions, feel free to reach out. If you have a podcast, just reach out. We can definitely set something up.
For sure. And as far as public speaking, once the country opens back up again, if someone wanted to have you come to their conference or what have you, how could they reach you?
Best way to get in touch with me is on social media, Carlos Gil 83. I know a lot of people give out their email address, but for me, my Twitter and my Instagram is my business card. So if you want to connect, follow the content I share. It's Carlos Gil 83. If you want to invite me to come out, do a workshop for your team, that's also the best way to get that conversation started. Awesome.
Well, once again, Carlos, I really appreciate you coming out. Or I don't say coming out, but coming online or whatever, whatever you want to call it. Definitely appreciate you taking the time to speak to me and my audience community here. As for everybody else out there, you see, I try to bring you the best value as I possibly could. That's all I got for you for today. As always, thank you for your time. Make it a great day.
All right.